Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my fellow freedom seekers, wherever you are in the world today. I am going to talk about, ask the question, are you in negative equity? That's from a wealth perspective. Do you have net assets or do you have overall net liabilities? I used to have overall net liabilities. Things have now changed. But before I go into that and explain what I mean, I'm first going to introduce myself. I'm Carol Simon, but I guess you know that because you're watching this either on the live or replay. If you're watching this on the replay, please do put replay in the comments. I'd love to know whether you're watching on the replay. But I am a married mother of two, and I was in my previous role for 30 years a professional accountant working primarily in the investment banking sector. I left my job back in 2022 when I decided to take back control and to live life on my terms. And what I do now, I help my fellow Generation X women, not specifically, but primarily, to gain financial independence by educating them and teaching them how to leverage multi-dollar businesses to create diverse income streams so they can take control and live life on their terms. So today I'm going to talk about something that I got to know about in my 50s. I'm sad to say, but at least it's never too late. How to assess, well, I guess I always knew, but how to assess my wealth. And the question is, are you in negative equity or not? And the question I want to start off with, because again, it's being exposed to financial education, and financial intelligence starts with learning the difference between assets and liabilities. Now, as an accountant, of course, I know and I've always known the difference between assets and liabilities, but that's from an accounting perspective. But today I want to look at that from a wealth perspective, or from a Robert Kiyosaki perspective. That's more to do with an income source as opposed to a non-income source. But if I just go to, I'm just going to read the definition as per Google, and this is what it says. It says, assets represent the resources your business owns, resources that you own, and that help generate revenue. So if you have assets that are generating revenue, then if you have, a resource or something that you own that is generating revenue, that is classified as an asset. And then liabilities are considered to be the debt or financial obligations that you owe to other parties. So if you owe money to someone, or you have something that's a debt, then that is considered to be a liability from the accounting perspective. Now I'm going to switch it around a little bit and talk about it in more simplified terms from a wealth perspective and the individual. If you have an asset or something that you own that puts money in your pocket, then that is an asset. So if you have something that puts money in your pocket, that's an asset. If you have something that is not putting money in your pocket but taking money away, then that's not an asset. Let me give you an example. A car. When you buy a car, you pay whatever you pay for that car. As soon as it's off the forecourt, it loses 15% of its value. But that car is costing you money because you have to service it, you've got to pay MOT, you've got to fill it with petrol. So that car is costing you. It's not actually generating any funds for you. So that in terms of wealth is not an asset. It's a liability because it's costing you money. Similarly, if you buy a house, I bought a house, by the way, and I was so excited by this. I bought my first flat at the age of 24. And back then, they were throwing money at people to buy houses. So you didn't have to have a lot of money, a lot of savings, put it that way. And we're going to talk about savings, by the way, versus investments on another chat. But today is purely about assets versus liabilities. So I bought this flat at 24. I was very proud of myself. Thought I'd done really, really well. But I got a 95% mortgage back then. I think it might even be 97.5% mortgage. So I just had to put down a really low deposit, and they threw money at me. And they did this all not just for me, but in the US, especially before 2008 crash. But they were throwing money at people. So the people were getting debt. They were buying properties based using debt, money given to them by the banks. And then what happened? The market crashed. And that happened to me in 2000. So I bought my flat in 1999 or early 2000, I think it was. And then not long after that, the market crashed. So I paid 44,000 for my flat back then, pounds, and it went down to 39,000 in value. So then I was what they call negative equity, because the flat that I purchased 44,000 was worth less than what I paid for it, and I owed more than 39,000. So therefore, I no longer had an asset. It was costing me money. But even before the market crashed, I still didn't have an asset because I had to pay for well, I had to pay the mortgage for starters. It was costing me, money was coming out of my pocket. I had to pay for utilities. I had to pay the heating bill. I had to pay the rates. I had to pay the council tax. So owning that house, it wasn't an asset because it wasn't generating income for me. It was actually a burden to me. I was actually paying for it. And I eventually sold it when it broke even. So I actually never made any money out of that flat. That is one regret I do have, because I could have then probably rented it out and then made money that way. So if you're making money on that property by renting it out, people are paying you to live in your house, then it becomes an asset. But if you are paying for it solely and it's not making you any money, in the sense of wealth and having assets that make you money, that is not an asset. So what is an asset in the sense of assets that make you money and liabilities that cost you money? Let me go through the liabilities first. I've mentioned, so a house that you're living in is a liability if it's not making you money. A car, TVs, all these things, all these accessories that we want in our homes, these are all liabilities because they cost you money. But what is an asset? Gold is an asset, because gold is a store of value. So you could buy a house with 1 gram of gold back in 1923, and even today, because gold has gone up in value, you can still buy a house with 1 gram of gold. So gold is an asset. Digital assets. You've got you have many investment platforms. Again, that create. There are various investment opportunities, investment vehicles, that create money for you. That's what you call an asset. They are collector's items. There's art and fine art. These are what you call assets because they make you money. So if you are looking to create wealth, and if you're looking to create a perpetual income stream, and as per one of my earlier recordings, I talked about having your money work for you, putting your hard-earned pounds, your hard-earned euros, your hard-earned dollars into assets that are making money for you. And we can talk about that in another call, different vehicles for making money. I won't go into detail on those calls. If you want to know more about that, you can contact me directly, or you can put a comment in the you can put Gen X in the comments below this video if you want to know more about the different vehicles that I use so that my assets are making me money. But there are various options that are open to all of us. And unless we are in those communities, unless we are mixing with those who know how to make their assets work for them, you miss out. So I don't want you to miss out. I want you to take control. I want you to live life on your terms. I want you to be able to say that I do not have negative equity. I have net assets. And thankfully, because I exposed myself, because I now embrace financial education, I have moved from the position of negative equity into a position of net assets. And I would love the same for you too. So if you have found value in what I've shared today, do let me know by putting Gen X or whatever comment. Just let me know in the comments below this video that I've shared something of value today. And I hope to continue to do this every single week so that you can grow in financial education and become financially free, be able to take that control and live life on your terms as a Generation Xer. Take care, have a good evening, good night, and God bless.